Alright, we're on to Bear Hugger now. Bear Hugger can be quite annoying if you don't know what you're doing, because your punches do have to be a bit precise to counter his punches. But he's not really all that difficult once you get used to him. He's pretty much your first challenge in this run as far as speedrunning goes. Basically, with the way you want to start the fight off is, you notice he sticks his tongue out and does the tongue taunt. When he blinks the yellow, that's your cue to punch him in the face in order to get a star. Now you want to do a right face jab when he does his left hook, and your visual cue to counter it is when he blinks red. And now you want to use a left face jab to counter his right downswing punch. And the visual cue to counter it is after he blinks red. And then after you get your third star, you want to hold A to buffer your 3-star punch. And now we need 2 more punches to finish off phase 1, which is to counter his hook with a right jab by throwing the right jab after he blinks red. And then after you get the star, just buffer the star punch by holding A. It's literally simple. Alright, so phase 2, what we're going to do is, we're going to get a star. So basically the way phase 2 is going to go is, we can actually go over phase 1 more time. So this is how we do phase 1, by getting 3 stars and then using it. And then we counter this punch for a star and use it. So the way we're going to start phase 2 is we're going to counter his hook with a right face jab by throwing the right face jab when he blinks red. And then when he's coming back to center, we want to throw a left body blow to force him to block. And that will cause him to do his bear hug just slightly early. The main reason it causes him to do it slightly early is because you do cancel out the animation of him recovering from where you hit him. And that causes him to go into his next move. And then when he goes, need a hug, as soon as you hear him say the word hug, mash the A button to throw a star punch into his bear hug, and that will cause an instant knockdown. 2, 3, 4. It's that simple. Just like that. It's not really all that difficult. And phase 3 is exactly the same as phase 2. So we want to counter his hook once again by using a right face jab to counter his hook. Remember, the visual cue for throwing it is when he blinks red, that's your cue to throw it. And then when he's coming back to center, you just throw a left body blow to cause him to block. And then when he does that bear hug, when he says the word hug, that's your cue to mash the A button, and then he's out for the TKO. It's that simple. A visual cue I can give you in order to time the left body blow to cause him to block is when his head's fully back and when it starts to come back to center. Just when it's fully back, starting to come back to center, that's your cue to throw the left body blow to cause him to block. It's that simple, but eventually you won't even have to use that visual cue once you get used to it, because it's more about feel. And then the visual cue to timing the star punch into his bear hug is when he says hug, that's when you mash the A button. You have a pretty reasonable window to time the star punch into the bear hug. It don't have to be done within 4 frames, I don't think. I would say you probably have at least a 6-frame window to do it. It's a huge window. It's very rare that I would mess that up. See, like this, it's a huge window. It's probably at least 6 frames or more. And that's Bear Hugger. That's all you need to know about Bear Hugger. The fight's pretty basic itself. Alright, so, I want to show just a slightly more advanced strategy that's just barely more advanced, that's slightly more difficult, but still fairly easy once you kind of get used to it. I don't recommend this for beginners because it is a little bit trickier. We still get the 2 stars exactly the same. This time we would counterpunch his overhead. We counterpunch his arm, his down cut, or whatever you want to call that move, with a 2-star punch. So the way we do it is, after we get these 2 stars here, the visual cue to timing the star punch into this is after he's done saying that, you time your 2-star punch into that. It can be a little bit difficult if you don't know what you're doing, but still not too difficult once you kind of get used to it. I'm not going over this strat too much in depth because I'm doing this tutorial more for beginners. But if you want to try the slightly more advanced strat, go for it, just in case you get bored and you're waiting for the next part to come out. Alright, so I did it correctly that time. So when he goes, time your 2-star punch into that. Phase 2 is exactly the same strategy-wise. The only difference in Phase 2 is that he'll delay a little bit before doing the bear hug. So that's the only thing you need to be aware of, and that is one of the reasons the strategy is a little bit trickier. So we counter this, do a left body blow when he's coming back to cause him to block. Now we wait for his bear hug, and when he says the word hug, that's when we match the A button to use our star punch. Just like that. And Phase 3 is still exactly the same. The benefit of this strat is that it is faster. That's the benefit. But I don't recommend it for a beginner because it's a little bit trickier. Phase 3 is still exactly the same as the normal Phase 3. I was too early. Even though I did a strat that's slightly harder, I was too early. I'm not going over this strat too much in depth because I'm doing this tutorial more for beginners. But if you want to try this strat, go for it. It will help you improve a little bit at least. That's the advantage of this strat, but the con about this strat is that it is slightly harder. The only difference about Phase 2 is that there's a delay before the bear hug, unlike doing the other strat. That's why I don't recommend this strat, because it can catch you off guard. And Phase 3 is still exactly the same as the Phase 3 with the beginner strat. I'm not going over this strat too much in depth, because I'm doing this tutorial more for beginners, because this is a beginner's tutorial. I just thought I'll throw it in there, just in case if anybody wants to try this. Because it's not the most advanced strat there possibly is. There's definitely more advanced strats than this. But I just thought I'd include it in there, just in case if anybody wants to try this. Let's go over the beginner strat one more time. But we're going over the beginner strat one more time. See how I beat him in 35 point something with a slightly more advanced strat? Alright. Here's what the beginner strat looks like. Remember to counter these 3 punches for stars. I messed up because I was talking. And it's difficult to talk and do everything. So we want to counter these attacks for stars like this. And once we get 3 stars, hold A to buffer the 3-star punch. Counter his next attack for a star and hold A to buffer the star punch. It's that simple. And remember Phase 2, we want to counter his hook. And then after we counter his hook, what we want to do is do a left body blow to cause him to block. And then star punch the bear hug. When he says the word hug, that's your audio cue to press the A button. And then he'll hit the mat. And Phase 3 is exactly the same as Phase 2. I don't know why I messed it up. And that's an easy thing to do, even with a beginner strat, especially if you're talking while you're doing it, because it's hard to do while I'm talking. Just remember, get your 3 stars here, counter this, buffer start. After you get those 3 stars, buffer the 3-star punch, and then counter the next move, and then buffer the star punch. Just remember that. Okay, so we want to counter this move. Left body blow causes. I don't know why I'm throwing it early. I don't even mean to throw it early. I guess I'm distracted by the dog barking. So remember, get 3 stars right here. buffer 3-star punch, counter his next move, and then buffer star punch. It's that simple.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So remember what we do here? Counter this, left body blow causes him to block, and then when he says the word hug, that's when he mashes the A button to star punch his bear hug. And phase 3 is exactly the same as phase 2.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Come on.
And that's it. That's bear hugger for you. He shouldn't be too difficult with some practice. And with this strat, you should get a time around, I think, 39 or 40 seconds every single time. So, alright guys, that was it. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed, don't forget to drop a like on the video. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell to be notified every time my new videos come out. If you have any questions about these strategies, please feel free to leave your questions in the comment section. I'll be glad to answer them to the best of my ability. Have a wonderful day. Peace, Republic of Speed Boy.